Hi, this is Joe again with another review. When I say in this video, I'm going to be discussing the 1950 musical Annie Get Your Gun, starring Billy Hutton and Richard Kiel. Of course, this is one of the stalwarts of the classics of the MGM musicals back in the 40s and the 50s. And this being, of course, 1950 when this movie came out. So it was based on the popular Broadway show, which some 48 years later, 49 years later, Reba McEntire is the role of Annie, or Annie Oakley. Of course, Annie Get Your Gun is supposed to be based on the life, loosely based on the life of a woman sharpshooter named Annie Oakley from the Old West. And the base, of course, takes place in the 1880s during the Old West, where Annie joins a traveling show, Buffalo Bill's show of the Wild West. We had Indians and sharpshooting tricks and all sorts of things to entertain the public. And Buffalo Bill was so enamored of Annie Oakley, a girl who knows how to shoot, who could shoot target practice better than any man he ever saw, including himself. So he hires her to do some sharpshooting tricks and get a challenge for anybody. And how she got the job was she challenged Buffalo Bill's top sharpshooter, who was played by Richard Kiel, to a contest, and of course it ended up in a tie. And he was impressed and Richard Kiel's character who was named Frank Butler, and he was so enamored by her that they fell in love. But the problem was that when Annie was outshining Frank on the show, people more came out to see her than him. He was in the late 1800s was a novelty for a woman to be a sharpshooter like this. And of course, it was really a novel thing to see, a woman sharpshooter. And she was so good, she never missed. She literally never missed. So Frank got annoyed at her, decides to leave the show, and then go on his own for a while. And then after a while, he came back in the end, and then of course he was working for another entertainment group, and the two guys, Buffalo Bill and this other Bill, decides to merge the two shows together into one thing, because they had a whole big tour in Europe with Annie Oakley, with all these different countries, with all these medals for sharpshooting skills, and they decided to. But unfortunately, they were losing money on the tour, and they came back to the States, and Buffalo Bill decided to merge his group with another group, but on the premise that Frank Butler and Annie Oakley could get back together. They agreed to it. Then we agreed to the merge. The problem is that the two were fighting, and of course, he had the famous song, which I want to get into more of the songs later. Anything you could do, I could do better, which is really one of the last real good songs in the really the last big song number that they have in this musical, because Annie Get Your Gun is a musical, and of course after that bit they decided to fix a contest that Frank would beat Annie, because if it was legit, Annie would certainly beat Frank in any contest. But they decided, hey, they spoke to Annie and said, hey Annie, why don't you purposely lose, because if you lose, Frank will agree to the merger, right? So then Frank caught on to what was going on, and ended up falling in love with Annie anyway, and the two of them decided to get married at the end. And that's basically the story. But Annie Get Your Gun is more famous for the songs. I only mentioned one. Anything you could do, I could do better. There's one song. Of course, there was also one other famous song that came out of Annie Get Your Gun, and has been played for years in other movies or other or the Oscars, for years. And there's no business like show business. And of course, one of the other things that people don't know, which they just looked up on Wikipedia, was the fact that Judy Garland was originally supposed to be the actress playing the part of Judy Garland. Playing the part of Judy Garland. And Judy Garland was supposed to play Annie Oakley. But the problem was that at that time, in 1950, she was becoming more of a pain in the ass at MGM. She was like the Marilyn Monroe of MGM. It means there was being a pain to work with. She was showing up late, often either drunk or hungover, or on drugs, because she was taking all kinds of pills. So they fired Judy Garland and hired Betty Hunt, and Betty Hunt she was absolutely terrific in this movie. I just saw this movie for the first time just the other night, so this was pretty fresh in my mind. And I thought she was, the first time I seen this movie, I thought she was terrific as Annie Oakley. And of course, her co-star was Richard Kiel, and all her co-stars took it out on her because she replaced Judy. Because at that time, Judy was long-established star for over a decade at that point. Since, of course, since 1938, really, she was the star of MGM, carrying all the she starred in so many MGM musicals, Judy, that she was, the belle of the ball, so to speak. Even though for on-stage problems and off-stage problems, but the rest of the cast took it out on her, and to the point where she was, and of course she Betty Hunt, to her credit, she complained about it. Said, "Look, all these people are taking it out on me. It's not my fault that they fired Judy Garland. They decided to fire her, and they hired me to take her place. So they're taking it out on me, which is not appropriate. But because Betty decided to stink, and this is of course 1950, she was making such a stink that she was not invited to the New York premiere of Any Get Your Gun. She was not invited. But she was nominated for a Golden Globe for her performance in this movie. And I think she should have gotten at least an Oscar nomination for it, because she was that good in this role. And of course, it was also the first movie role for Richard Kiel here in the United States for playing Frank Butler. And of course, in the Broadway revival, which I mentioned earlier, which took place in the late 90s, I think it was 98, 99, Tom Wolpath from the Facts of Life, from the Dukes of Hazzard, played Frank Butler in the revival of Any Get Your Gun back in the late 90s. But I feel that the whole movie was carried by Betty Hunt, who did a terrific job in this movie. And anybody who's a fan of musicals should check out Any Get Your Gun. And I am a fan of musicals. And I mostly grew up with the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals, like South Pacific, Oklahoma, and of course Sound of Music. I want to say My Fair Lady, but Rodgers and Hammerstein did not write My Fair Lady. But I grew up watching these musicals, so I know. So the more musicals that you go watch, the better, because they don't make good musicals anymore. And so that's my review of the movie Any Get Your Gun. Please check out the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com. That's over WDY. C.com. That's the homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer. Christine Moore. Please check out all of his videos on this website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.